ladies, my name is Jessica and welcome to Makeup.misfit and welcome to another update for my Pen That palette. I'm happy, I'm excited with where I'm sitting at. It's not the same amount of progress that I've been making over the last couple of months, but I still made decent progress considering. And what I mean by that is I actually had to take a break from this palette. So if you've heard me mention in a couple of my other videos, there was a short period of time, a week, maybe a week and a half with this palette, where I felt like I just needed a break from most of the makeup that I'd been working on. Part of that also being my birthday, so when that came around, I didn't feel like wanting to wear the shadows that I've been wearing pretty much every other day. I wanted to wear whatever I wanted to wear, and it kind of just went from there pretty much for a little bit, but it was very well needed because if I'm getting burnt out from a palette, which was happening with this one, I need that break. Because I'm not going to want to work on it. So if I take a break, come back to it, it's not so bad. So that's what I did with this midsummer palette, and I'm happy with where I'm sitting at regardless of that week and a half of no use. So I'm going to throw up a photo of what I was looking at last month, and you can see that there's still 3 shades left in this palette. Midsummer is the top corner shade, and then I have the 2 in the bottom middle there. So Midsummer was repressed before this update, this previous update in that photo. And then the other 2 had very little usage on it, one more so than the other, but I still knew that those were going to be the last 2 shades in this palette. So that being said, this is what it's looking like right now. And I'm so happy with how far I've come just in this palette alone, but also just in this past month. So as you can see, Midsummer is gone. This shade has a pan, and this one doesn't look like it's been used too well, but we'll get to work on that one shortly. But I do just want to chat about the shades in here. So Midsummer, like I said, had been repressed. It took me a lot longer to finish off than I thought I was going to, because when I was using Puck, which was the shade beside it, after I repressed it, it was gone within 2 days. This shade had taken a lot longer. Again, I switched to a fluffier brush, so that did have some impact on it, but it just wasn't going as quickly as I thought it was going to, even with the regular brush that I use. It was still okay, but it was also making it difficult because I was getting a little burnt out with the mauve tone. I've been working on this palette pretty consistently since December, so you get a little tired of it, and I just wanted something, I wanted it to go. After the break and I came back to it, I was still like, I just wanted to finish it off, but I was at that point where I just didn't want it in the palette anymore. I wanted it to go. I tried using it as a blush once or twice, but I had hit pan on it again. And by the time I tried to use it as a blush, it just wasn't in the right state, maybe. It was just very difficult to put on and blend out. It was fine blending it out with other blushes on top of it, but just as alone, it didn't really work that well. But I am so happy that I finally finished it off. It was about a few days ago, maybe less than a week ago, that shade's been gone, and that's been so lovely. But as for the bottom 2 shades, so the one that has the pan in it, I actually hit that unexpectedly. So that was the one shade that had slight more usage on it than the other shade in the bottom there. But I really didn't think I was going to hit pan on it as soon as I did. So basically what had happened was I took those 2 shades and I was using both of those 2 in my crease. And I had done that a few times, and one of the times I did it, I forgot to put down vitamin C from my Little Ray of Sunshine palette as my transition, which is how I've been using that shade. And I just went straight for those 2 shades. So then I ended up taking vitamin D and I put it on top, and it really helped blend those 2 shades out to the point where I felt like I could put other shades on top of it and the tone wasn't really going to compete, especially since I have a lot of coral shades I'm working on right now. So that's kind of what I did. And it still managed to look really nice. There was one day I had a bit of an issue where it wasn't really blending in the other corner, but my eyes had become a little more irritable again. So I'm trying to watch that irritation on my eyes by switching to a fluffier brush and sometimes not even wearing eyeshadow. So that was the only time I had an issue with it, but I feel like I'll be able to get through those last two shades by using them in the crease that way, blending them out with vitamin D, and then I can pair other shadows on top of them, no problem whatsoever. So I'm excited to finish off this palette. It has been very motivating. What's also helped is what I have mentioned in the previous update was I was taking shades from my Viseart Warm Edit palette and putting them into here just to help round off the color story since I only had 3 shades left. And that definitely helped me as well. I had said back then too that I was going to take those shades out of this palette for the update because it's not actually a part of this palette. So I just want you guys to see what it's actually looking like. So I'll probably throw those shades back in there as well, which will also help me get used on my Warm Edits palette, which I would like to start to see a lot more pans coming out of that palette as well. That's what I like about these little ones is like you can switch these shades in and out and make your own color stories, that sort of deal. So I can definitely throw a few more of those shades in here. It didn't take up the full palette. I think it was only 3 shades. But it definitely helped round off the color stories. So we might still do that with this just to get some progress going on that other palette, but that's besides the point. I am just very happy with where I'm sitting at. I am very happy that I have 6 out of the 8 shadows completely finished, that it's only March. I've been working on this since December, so it's been a few months. It might take me a couple more just because that one shade still looks like it has very little use on it, and it pretty much does. So I don't know how long that's going to take me to hit pan, but I'm hoping by the upcoming update in April that I will have at least a little bit of pan on there. If I can completely finish off that other shade by then, I will be happy just to have the one shade left, and maybe by May, June, I can completely finish off this palette. That would pretty much be ideal since I was hoping for like 6 months to get this palette out, and at this rate, it's looking like I might be able to do that. A lot of that has been very, very consistent use. And with all of the other eyeshadows that I'm working on right now, it's been a bit of a struggle to a point, juggling a lot of eyeshadows. I knew this was going to be a little overwhelming, and it's definitely gotten there. So my brain's kind of going, and I'm kind of wondering about what to do. I think I might actually take a break from Pan That Palette after this one is completed. I may do one on the side, but I don't know if I'm actually going to do a second Pan That Palette for this year. I might just end it and then see what happens next year. I have panned those eyeshadows going. I have my panning solitaire project going, which are my other 2 eyeshadow focused projects. And then I do have a palette that I threw in and a single that I threw into my deck of panning. I just threw in a palette to my Alice in Wonderland project. So that's a lot of eyeshadow, even though those are just like usage goals. It's still a lot. So let me know what you guys think, because I do kind of want to get, like, I have my Solstice palette sitting right here, which has quite a few shades left in it still. I do want to get good use and finish off my Viseart shadows, at least these little palettes here, and my Warm Edit palette. The pan sizes are all the same, so those are the ones that I want to finish. But I don't know if I really want to make it a focus or if I should just kind of do it on the side, still let those shadows be eligible and pan those eyeshadows. If I happen to roll it in, then just get better progress on it that way, but not really keep you guys updated. Just do it off to the side on my own little thing, just because I don't want to feel too overwhelmed. So let me know what you think of that. Let me know if you think I should do another Pan That palette this year, or if you agree and you think that it might be a little bit too much and that you guys are just happy seeing that this palette's going to be completely finished this year and at least one palette out is better than none. And yeah, I definitely, when I started this, I wasn't expecting to work on as many eyeshadows as I have been so far this year, but my Panning Solitaire kind of was like a spur of the moment project because the packaging broke and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I know I just keep on rambling, so I'm going to stop, but let me know what you guys think I should do, and I'll take everything into consideration, but that's it. So I'm so excited with where I'm sitting at. I'm really hoping that by next month I can get a lot more progress on here, and I feel like I can if I keep up the consistent use. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys watching this, and I will see you all later. Bye.